If you're in the cattle industry or looking to get into the cattle industry, you may have heard of the word or the term amp grazing. Amp grazing is basically when the farmer or the rancher tries to imitate the grazing practices of the buffalo back in the day when they used to graze the wide open prairie here in the United States. And the idea is that the buffalo do intense grazing in one location for a brief amount of time, and then they move on to the next spot. What happens during that time is that all those buffalo in one small area eating everything that's there, and what they don't eat, they poop on and tramp it into the soil. Over the years, the grazing style of the buffalo created super deep soils in the prairie. You're talking like 6 foot deep topsoils. You can look it up. You can, they did research and studies on it. You can look it up. Here on our farm, we are trying to implement amp grazing. And what happens in the wintertime is we have to sacrifice one of our pastures, like this one behind me, and it looks pretty crappy, just like this. And we sacrifice it so that all the other lots, the other 6 acres roughly, can sit completely dormant and untouched for the entire winter. They look like this. As you can see, there's grass in here. It has not been touched since like September. Now what this does is it allows the pasture to completely come to a resting state where it's not being disturbed or touched, and as soon as it goes dormant, it can just stay dormant. It doesn't get abused, the root systems don't get tore up, and the grass isn't eaten down to nothing. And that's basically how amp grazing works, is even in the summertime when everything is actively growing, we are intensely grazing one location for a very brief time, and then we move them to the next lot. And we do that on a couple day cycle. So we have like 6 lots and we graze them on about a 2 or 3 day cycle. So when you multiply that by 6, you're looking at about 12 to 18 days of resting time between each meadow. So if we graze this little lot right here for 2 days in the summer, and then after 2 days, we move them to the next one, and we do that for every single lot, by the time we get back to this lot back here, it's been 12 to 18 days. That grass has had time to rest, rejuvenate, and grow back up. And that way we can keep these cattle, these guys right back here behind me, we can keep them, we can keep them fed and happy through the summertime.